I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
We have them on the run, and we're going to keep our foot on the gas pedal.
I'm totally believing that. That was a persuasive delivery from Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader.
I don't think it's a secret to anyone that Trump has Democrats on their heels. I don't think we need to like pretend that's not happening. You know, admitting you have a problem is the first step to recovery. Yeah. And I think that the people are trying different things. And it doesn't mean I love every idea, but I identify with that need to try and do something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Senator,
Boy. So once again, we got to talk about the infighting that is happening within the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party, they're going through a period of reflection. They're trying to figure out exactly why is it that the American people rejected Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party brand for Trump, okay? And I got to tell you, the Democrats and their self-reflection, it doesn't seem to be going very well. And one of the reasons why I say that is because even the more moderate Democrats, right? Like, for example, Alyssa Slotkins, who has rose to superstardom within the Democrat Party because she gave the rebuttal to President Trump's joint address, okay? And her rebuttal really was absolutely terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, it was not memorable at all. But anyways, she went on The View, and she told the cackling hens that, hey, you know, America, the fact that we voted for Trump kind of shows that we're like mindless teenagers. That is the comparison that she made on The View, while again pitching herself as the reasonable moderate. Take a look.
Here on our show, and she said, quote, "We have to have a sense of urgency as we move forward, and we cannot do it the way we have in the past. This is not normal. It's a 5-alarm fire." Statistics show that Democrats want an opposition party, not a business as usual party, right? 10 of your colleagues voted to censure Al Green, who met the moment, in my view, by standing up for his constituents who depend on Medicaid and Medicare. Why are you and other Democrats, some people say you and other Democrats are playing it safe and quite frankly not meeting the moment, playing by the rules when it's clear that the Republicans have thrown out the rule book?
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, to me, again, representing a state where people voted for Trump and voted for me, I have responsibility to represent my entire state. But I don't think there's anyone who feels like what's going on right now is normal, even if you voted for Trump, right? I think there's a feeling in the country. I mean, I often say this, you know, we're about to turn 250 years old, right? We're still pretty young for a country. These are our like our angry teenage years, right? We are going through this push and pull where we're happy, we're sad, we want this, we want that. And what do you do when you have a teenager who's threatening themselves and others? You just try to get them through this period alive so that their brain can fully form and you can come back to kind of what
Are
a
you
country.
talking about Trump?
No, I'm talking about our country. We're pendulum swinging. We're pendulum swinging. And so for me, I think that I don't think there's a single American who feels like this is normal. And therefore
Do you think
response.
it's a 5-alarm fire?
I think what the president is doing to our economy, you all just talked about it this morning. I mean, like, sorry, people may not know the federal budget. They know their own home budget, and they know exactly how much they're spending. So I think whether it's the economy, whether it's our national security, right, cutting people who keep us safe, and then handing over places like Ukraine to a guy like Putin, or our democracy, right, threats to how we are as who we are as a democracy. I think that we are absolutely in extraordinary times, and it requires an extraordinary response.
Yeah, so what you have here is the so-called moderate Democrat once again showing us that the Democrats and their push towards being moderate, right? Even the people they march out there and tell you, hey, these are sane Democrats. It's all fake, right? It's all fake. It's all phony. Because you can't be a so-called moderate and then turn around and say, well, there's a 5-alarm fire and that the American people that voted for Trump, they're like mindless teenagers, right? The American people, we don't know what to do, right? It's almost like, okay, well, you're insulting the American people, okay, because of the way they chose to vote. Also, on top of that, again, if you're a so-called moderate and you actually want to work with the president, then we're not in a 5-alarm fire, right? I mean, let's be real. This country is going to be fine, right? We're going to be fine, especially with President Trump in charge. But again, what the extremists want from Democrats is to pretend as if the world is on fire and that the world is going to end under Trump. And you just can't do that, right? You cannot sit here and continue to rage about everything, which is what Democrats have been doing. And again, the so-called moderates, they don't have an answer for that, right? The answer for them is to keep raging because they continue to try to appeal to these extremists.
Senator, do you agree with Governor Newsom?
Well, look, I think, you'll have to talk to Mr. Newsom and his podcast, and we're all talking about it now because it's, good controversy. For me, I grew up playing 3 seasons of sports. In Michigan, sports is like our religion, right? I wouldn't be here, I think, without the leadership training that I got in women's sports. But for me, it's like, let the local community figure this out, right? In Michigan, we have a process in place where if someone who's born a boy wants to play in women's sports, you have to get a waiver. We've had it happen 2 times in our entire state. So let the local communities, just like everything with schools, handle that issue. For me, though, I think, this issue is being sort of brought up in order to make sparks and see sparks fly.
Yeah, so as you can see, the so-called moderate Democrat can't even take the most basic position that any Democrat that calls himself a moderate should be able to take, which is that, hey, biological boys should not compete against biological girls in sports. Can't do it, right? Can't do it, okay? But again, these are the people that are trying to sell to the American people that they're sane, right? That they're sane, okay? And some Democrat strategists, again, they're just not buying it. Like, for example, Liz Smith, who admitted out loud that, yeah, the Democrat Party, we are embracing our extremists too much. We're taking too many extreme positions.
It's not just that Donald Trump won the election, it's that Democrats lost the election. And as a party, we can't orient ourselves completely around Donald Trump, right? We need to look under the hood and have tough conversations with ourselves about the things that are going wrong. And I'll keep this quick because I know you got questions, but this is the main problem with the Democratic Party. It is too small. Why is it too small? Because we're not winning elections. Why are we not winning elections?
Because we're too small.
No, because we are taking positions that definitionally make it impossible to win elections.
Right. Such as?
Look at with Kamala Harris. In 2020, in that infernal primary of which I, was a part, she was locked into supporting decriminalizing all border crossings. Gender reassignment surgery for undocumented immigrants.
Paid for by taxpayers.
In prison. Payers.
Yeah, not the taxpayers, but the people getting the surgery.
Banning all fracking, right? And I'm going to cuss here, but we got to stop that shit. We are doing, President Obama had a great sort of motto about foreign policy for his White House, which is don't do stupid shit. We need to adopt that motto for the DNC and Democratic Party writ large because we shouldn't have lost. How did we lose to a guy who had 34 felony, guilty of all these things, who was called American Hitler a week before the election, all that? It wasn't because we weren't mean enough and because people didn't know that he was this morally flawed human being. It's because they thought that we were weird. They thought that we were out of touch. We did not listen to enough people and talk enough about the need to secure the border and lower costs. So,
is that the lesson that the Democrats are taking from it, though? Because I hear some that the feeling is that she abandoned those great liberal positions.
So some are there. Some of us are trying to chart a new path, a better path, and stay tuned. There'll be some news on that. But and look, if you look at, again, I did a lot of research here, and I looked at the ads of the top overperformers in the House this year, and I actually worked with 5 of the 6 top Democratic overperformers in the House. They won not because they ran as Democrats, they won because they ran against the Democratic brand.
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that, okay? Essentially what that strategist is saying, which, I largely agree with in regards to, yes, the Democrat Party, they are a party of weirdos, freaks, low testosterone men, and high-calorie women, right? And yes, that's part of the reason why they lost is because they're in bed with lunatics, right? Which makes them take very, very, very silly positions, okay? Like, for example, continuing to defend biological boys competing against biological girls in sports. It just doesn't make sense. Again, this is an 80-20 issue that the American people have already decided that, hey, we are against that, right? But Democrats are like, no, we're going to stand against the American people. And they believe that in order to overcome their bad policy positions, that Democrats, again, they just need to rage against Trump more. Just be more Trump deranged. In fact, start cursing, right? Start cursing, which is something that Democrats are doing, okay? The Democrats are becoming the potty mouth party, right? They're embracing ghetto behavior, okay, which is what Jasmine Crockett put on display during the joint address to Congress, and she got some backlash for it. Even Bill Maher came out and said, hey, you know, you're talking like a podcaster. This is unprofessional. This is not the type of leadership that we want out of the Democrat Party for a time like this. And you have the extremists, aka the race hustlers, and the progressive lunatics. They've now come out, and now they're going after Bill Maher for basically trying to advocate for Democrats to, I don't know, be a little bit more professional, right? To carry yourself in a way that shows that you're a serious party. But no, the extremists of the Democrats, they're not going to allow that. That is racist.
He's hearing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we wasn't going to sit for that shit. We wouldn't. You know, we showed up. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure. We got some cool shirts. We got Madam Williams.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up, because I'm ready to get on with it. That while we may not have the numbers just yet, that doesn't mean that we don't have fight left in our bodies. And so I am going to fight him every step of the way until we get what we deserve, because it was my ancestors that built this motherfucker. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done.
First of all, thank you for making the back of my head famous. But second of all, if we could do a sequel, if you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Jasmine Crockett, who is, I thought, a big leader in the Democratic Party. Her quote is, "This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up because I'm ready to get on with it." On with what would be my first question. And also, this is the way this is like how a podcaster talks or some shit. Fuck it, man. Can you imagine, I don't know, Obama saying, "Oh, man, dude, this shit is whacked, and fuck it. Just slap me. I'm fucking over it." I mean, come on, man.
Also, there are
talk about bitch assness. That's Bill Maher. Oh my God, what must we do? A member of Congress was actually cursing. You got Donald Trump, who gave a speech calling Colin Kaepernick a son of a bitch. You got the language that he's used. Bill Maher, go to hell, you asshole. My deal, I am so sick of his whiny ass. He wants Democrats to fight. Now he's whining. Oh my gosh, she's talking like a podcaster. Like, do you know how many members of Congress I've talked to who actually curse? I know preachers who curse. Shut the hell up, Bill Maher. Go smoke a blunt.
He can't smoke a blunt because he is an ass. He's a blunt himself. Listen, a blunt tool for stupidity. Bill Maher, to me, for a long time, has been anti-black. And I know a lot of people say they don't believe that. Bill Maher is racist as hell. This is just a reminder of that. The idea or the audacity of him to have a problem with Jasmine Crockett, who shows up to work more prepared than anybody in every fucking committee she sits on. No one is more prepared than this representative, and I know that. I'm there. I'm watching it.
First of all, Bill, this is how you talk, right? Now, he was like, "Oh, I'm a comedian, so I'm allowed to talk like that." But second of all, we've been hearing from people for over a decade now, we need Democrats to be more authentic, more real, more raw. Stop being so highly calculated. Stop being a political robot who sounds like a machine, who doesn't sound like a human being. Then Jasmine Crockett comes along and sounds like a human being is real and raw and honest and speaking from the heart, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Let's go back to the robots. Let's go back to the talking point machines. Let's go back to the polished politicians. I don't know if you noticed, Bill, Donald fucking Trump is sitting in the White House. Does it seem like Americans are in the mood for a highly polished politician who stays on script? Or does it seem like Americans want what Jasmine Crockett is now selling? We all know the answer to that. Oh my God. It's never enough, right? It's never, you have a and he was like, oh, Democrats are lost. Yeah, the Democrats who are lost are your Democratic friends like Hakeem Jeffries. The leadership who doesn't know their fucking ass from their elbow, don't know how to resist, don't know how to fight, don't believe in fucking anything except getting more money from the Silicon Valley robber barons that are now taking over the government. Those are the ones that are lost. The ones who are not lost are the guy with the cane, as you said, and Jasmine Crockett, right? Those are the ones who are showing leadership, showing a belief in something bigger and more important than themselves.
Wow. The Democrats are in shambles, right? They're in shambles. They're imploding. They're in free fall. They have absolutely zero clue what they want to do, right? Or what direction they want to go in, because they're being pulled in all directions, okay? Again, the main problem with the Democrats, again, nobody is calling this out the way I'm calling it out, right? Because obviously these lunatics, they can't evaluate their own party, right? As an outsider, okay? I'm telling you, the biggest problem with the Democrats is the fact that they lack masculine male leadership. That is by far the number one problem, right? It's not that they need to curse more or that they need to act ghetto or, you know, they need to oppose Trump more. They need to be more outraged. No, they need masculine male leadership, which they severely lack. Okay, the problem with the Democrats is that they have too many low testosterone men and high calorie women leading their party, right? That's it. That's it. That is the biggest problem. That is what's causing them to be Trump deranged no matter what. That is what's causing them to be in bed with these race hustlers and these extremists, right? These extremists that think, oh yeah, it's a good look for Jasmine Crockett to be acting ghetto, right? That's a great look for Democrats. She's the leader that we need, right? Loud and ratchet. That's what we need. That's the type of leadership we need. We should just cry over Trump just to be cried over Trump, right? That's what they think. They think they need Al Green. Again, this idiot on the House floor got kicked out for heckling the president. 80% of American people agree with it. Okay? A vast majority of the American people, they want Democrats to work with President Trump. But again, these extremists keep telling the Democrats, no, you must oppose Trump no matter what. It's a 5-alarm fire, right? Trump is terrible. Everything is terrible. And again, as long as you have that mentality, which again, it comes from emotional people, right? Emotional people have that mentality. As long as Democrats have the emotional leadership that they have, they're not going anywhere, right? If you had a masculine male leader of the Democrat Party, truly masculine male leader, Democrats wouldn't be taking these Looney Tune positions. Like, for example, they would not be advocating for biological boys to compete against biological girls in sports, which is a subject, an issue that Democrats have failed to overcome, right? They can't even move on to any other issue until they get that one right, right? If they had masculine male leadership, they wouldn't be opposing President Trump no matter what. If they had masculine male leadership, they wouldn't be embarrassing themselves on the House floor trying to find all types of ways, desperate ways to oppose President Trump, okay? Every problem you're seeing with the Democrats right now is because they lack masculine male leadership. That's the problem. And until they solve that problem, they will continue to be lost, right? They don't have a man that can grab the Democrat Party by the cojones and say, this is what we're doing, right? You're not going to make a fool out of us on the House floor. Okay, you're not going to have these cringy protests. We're going to stand for common sense. We're not going to oppose Trump on everything. We're going to agree with the president and actually work with the president on issues that make sense, that American people want us to work with the president on. Like, for example, when it comes to securing the border, when it comes to mass deportations, when it comes to stopping the woke agenda, when it comes to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse out of the government, we are going to stand for something. And we're not going to just stand against Trump. We're going to stand for the policies that the American people want our politicians to enact, right? That's what we're going to stand for, okay? We're going to stand with the American people and what they want. Regardless of whether or not Trump agrees with it or whether or not they agree with Trump, doesn't matter. But again, it is the constant Trump derangement. It is the constant. Anybody that disagrees with us is transphobic. Anybody that disagrees with us is racist. It's all of that emotional nonsense that, again, is destroying the Democrat Party. Because even the Democrats that want to be sane, that want to be moderate, they can't be moderate because you have a small minority of lunatics within the Democrat Party that are just hell-bent on keeping the party as extreme as hell, especially on these social issues, right? And in opposition to Trump. And it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So like I said, Democrats, what they're lacking is masculine male leadership. While they're doing all that soul searching, I'm not hearing the actual main issue with the Democrats. Again, which is that they don't have masculine male leadership. Until they figure that out, they are lost. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.